I just got a message here that I'd like to read. It's from the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Fatima Chauhan. She says, I will not be able to join you at the event on Constitutional Hill this evening, as I am in Cape Town preparing for our budget vote debate on Wednesday. I am also fasting in solidarity and would like to include the plight of the Palestinian prisoners in my speech on Wednesday. I thought I should just inform you about that. Yes, comrades, I think much has already been said. I'm not sure whether I can add anything more than what has already been said. But I'd like to say make a few points. This is the 50th anniversary of the occupation of the West Bank in the 1967 war. And I think that we also need to focus on this question of the 50th anniversary, the half a century of struggle of the Palestinian for freedom and for independence and for a state of their own. The hunger strike, I think, also focuses on this question of the 50th anniversary or commemoration of the 50th years of struggle. And you know what has happened in the 50 years? The whole Palestinian community had been virtually destroyed. The houses and the homes have been demolished. The agriculture was destroyed, the trees, the palm trees. The settlement has continued and the has been eating into the Palestinian land. And of course there's killing, detention, torture, etc., etc. So it's 50 years of struggle. And this hunger strike sharply focuses on the struggle of the Palestinian, not just the struggle of the prisoners, but it focuses on the struggle of the Palestinians. Of course, we South Africans have a long history of struggle, of support of the Palestinian struggle. The famous quote that we always make when President Oliver Tambo addressed the UN in 1973. He said, we support three struggles. He said, East Timor, which is occupied by Indonesia at that time. We support the struggle of Sahrawi, occupied by Morocco, and we support the Palestinian struggle occupied by Israel. And now, this hunger strike, as was said, is a non-violent form of struggle. Is to, once you are in prison, what does the prison authorities do? Looking at exactly what was their demand, it reminded me of Robben Island. Isuchiba would know. They wouldn't allow us visits. And even if your people came, they were harassed by the security police, etc., etc. They didn't even have medical treatment. Sometimes people get amused in the morning when you get up and when you go to the sick bay. They will tell you, kopsier and pena, which means in Afrikaans, you see. Then you stand in a queue. Then the water will bring a big bottle with a little glass and he'll give you the same medicine. He wouldn't ask you what's wrong. Then you say, mach, your stomach. Then you stand in a queue. Then he'll give you another medicine. All of you will get the same medicine. Then he say, foba, chest. Then you stand in another queue. So there's no real medical treatment. And that's what the Palestinians are also complaining. That is what they do in prison, the authorities. Because they want to break down your morale, they want to break down your fighting spirit, they want to break down your revolutionary spirit. Of course, they failed with us on Robben Island. And that is what they're trying to do with the Palestinians. And the fact that the Palestinians are united in the hunger strike, which is very important, they're united. Sometimes, you know, we struggle to get the unity if you have different factions. That it means that they have failed to break the morale of the Palestinian prison. And that sends an important message to us and message to the Palestinian people themselves, that the fight goes on, the struggle continues while you're in the four walls of prison. And that is what we also experience on Robben Island. Of course, we also went on hunger strike because of the terrible condition. Of course, we were beaten up, we were sent to the quarry, coal quarry, to work in the stone quarry. When coming from work, we were stripped naked and had to stand in a queue to be searched. And we were given 3 meals, they call it 3 malte, where you don't eat it on Sundays, etc., etc. Then we decided this was enough. The only weapon you have is a hunger strike. They prevent you from contact outside. They don't allow you your lawyers, they don't allow you your visitors, they don't even allow you newspapers. And I think that is what happens in the Israeli prison. But we decided to fight back. And the only weapon you have is a hunger strike. You say you're not going to eat. And in South Africa, unlike Israel now, the authorities panicked a bit. They knew that if this thing gets out to the international community, it will have some type of adverse effect. After 4, 5, 6 days, they negotiated. Said, okay. What is it? Why you are striking? And we had to give all our complaints. Some were addressed, some were not addressed. We had another hunger strike, and maybe 2 or 3. But we were never harassed or punished for being on a hunger strike. We never harassed or punished, because the authorities knew we were united, and we had this power of unity, that we were a fighting group in prison. They cannot just deal with us as individuals. But unlike Israel, what is happening? They are punishing and harassing prisoners because they went on a hunger strike. They're isolating them, they're punishing them, giving them all sorts of punishment. And they're refusing to negotiate. Now this is against international law, international practice, you see. That if you have grievances, even if you are a prisoner, prisoners have basic human rights in terms of international convention. You cannot deprive prisoners. They have a right to food, they have a right to bedding, they have a right to clothing, they have a right to medical treatment, they have a right to visit, and they have a right to education as well. And this is what they are trying to deprive the Palestinian prisoners. Now, we welcome this struggle. It's a long struggle. People have gone hunger strike. It's an expression of solidarity with the Palestinians. The Israelis, of course, I must say, is making a lot of inroads, like the Moroccans, into Africa. We were shocked when Netanyahu came, hosted by whom? By the president of Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, of all the countries, and Ethiopia. And they're having, in October, I think, the ambassador, an Israeli-Africa summit. And 39 African heads of state have already agreed.
Just a few days ago, Israel hosted a conference for some African parliamentarians also in Tel Aviv.
Yes, some African parliamentarians.
For security and cooperation, under the title of security and cooperation.
India today under the government of Modi, warming up the 3 billion rand, $3 billion of armed action. I must tell you a story. I was in China last year at the BRICS political party meeting. I represented the African National Congress, and there was the BJP there. They were saying there's nothing as a Palestinian state. There's nothing such a thing as a Palestinian state. Abbas is opportunist, is getting money from the Americans. You can't talk of a Palestinian state. And you could see the right-wing shift in India and how it is beginning to affect him. Comrades, you are right, Ambassador. The struggle of the Palestinians has to be a non-violent political struggle. We had a meeting, the ambassador knows about, with a whole lot of Palestinian faction. And the point I was making to them, you see, terrorism has never freed anybody in the world, have never liberated anyone. You've got to have a national struggle, liberation struggle, which means you've got to have a political organization, you've got to have your own program, you've got to have your propaganda, you've got to go house to house, you've got to organize the masses in the struggle. I was telling them, do you know why the Americans lost the Vietnam War? They lost the Vietnam War because they relied on bombs and airplanes and guns, but the Vietnamese relied on the people, because the people in the end proved stronger. I was telling the Palestinians, see, 4 or 5 of you all can make a bomb and blow something else up. And the people become spectators. They just become spectators. They are not involved in the day-to-day struggle. And I think that's a message that we must create. It's a non-violence, and if you have a non-violence political struggle, it becomes a very powerful force. We know, of course, Mahatma Gandhi also used a hunger strike, a fasting, and he's really effective to ultimately destroy the British imperialism in India. We like to say at these days that there has to be unity of the Palestinians. There are Palestinians of different opinion, ideological differences. Some are seculars, some are Islamists, some are what? Some are communists as well. You have the Communist Party of Palestine. But what is important is we must say to the Palestinians, we want you to unite as one powerful force. And it is only through your unity and your struggle you'll be able to defeat the Zionist regime of Israel. As far as the hunger strike is concerned, I think that you have made a number of suggestions, and I'm sure you'll be able to take. I was reading about passing they said that all political parties in the legislation, the NA, move a motion to express the solidarity. I know it won't pass. I'm not sure whether the DA will support it after Maimane has visited Netanyahu, but I know the ACDP will never support it. For a motion, it needs a unanimous agreement. But probably we could have a debate in Parliament on this question of the hunger strike and the support of the Palestinian, which it means that a motion won't pass unless it gets the majority support. And I know in our Parliament it would not pass. So, comrades, we are here to say to the prisoners, we are thinking of them, We know that they're going through a very, very difficult time. We're thinking of the family as well. We want to express our solidarity, and we urge the international community to stand by and support the Palestinian prisoners and to demand that the Israeli government accede to the demand that they've made. They are just demands, they are simple demands. They're not asking for the sky, they're asking to be treated as simple human beings. Thank you.